Right now, we are live.
Sweet. Here we go.
Should probably get this camera aimed a little bit better here.
A little bit,
maybe. Kind of, sort of, somewhere in there. All right, that's good. That light's kind of jacked up, too. You may want to fix that. And I'm going to start the intro, and let's get the lights going.
Drink and he made it out of hops.
And we're back. We're running a little late tonight, so we're kind of getting our studio here set up a little bit.
Sorry, you guys.
Yeah, we're kind of getting it going. That's all right.
I am Matt.
And I am Jeff, and we are beer drinkers with a Bible Fetish. I'm going to go in hiding here. Look at this. I'm gonna put my... Yeah, that ain't working too well.
Why?
I don't know, man. How's that? Let's see. What do you think? I'll do the show like with this one.
Okay, whatever. I'm
See
not wearing the ball cap this week.
Can I hear anybody still? Yeah, I can barely hear with my... That's a good way to tone this down a little bit.
Okay.
Mike complains these headphones are always so darn loud. He needs to wear one of these.
Okay.
You know? Be like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
May the Force be with you. These aren't the droids you're looking for.
These are not the droids you're looking for. Please move on. Oh, and we got a new cable. If you remember last week, I was getting a lot of...
staticky stuff.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of static.
It bothered us on our end.
Yeah, it was probably making a lot of noise on our end, too. So
yeah.
We had to get that taken care of. Anyway, we are going to drink a couple beers here like we enjoy doing. You know, beer is is God's nectar.
Exactly.
So...
From the heavenly places.
From heavenly places. So I went and I picked this thing up. I got a
Pizza Port, dude?
Pizza Port Brewing Company.
Okay.
And it is Pizza Port. Wasn't that restaurant on Toy Story?
Pizza Planet.
Oh, that was Pizza Planet.
Yes,
I was thinking it was Pizza Port. Okay. Okay, Pizza Planet. No, I was actually thinking it was Pizza Port.
But it's
because didn't they have a port or something there too?
It did, and it had like the little rocket ship crashing in.
Yeah, that was
What was his name? Buzz or no?
Well, there's Buzz Lightyear and there's Woody.
No, the bad kid. What was his name?
Oh, I don't remember. I just remember they got stuck in the toy machine, the grabber.
Yep.
The arm is coming as they're looking up on it.
No, the claw.
The claw, yeah. That's awesome.
Anyways,
I like that movie.
And it's an amber ale.
We got an amber ale going here. It says "Good beer brings good cheer" on top.
Okay, and it's what? How do you say that? Is it? I don't even know.
What are you looking at?
No, I'm trying to read the.
Oh, chronic ale.
Oh, okay.
So it's chronic, dude. It's like it's gonna get you stoned at the same time you drink this.
All right, 16 ounces, a little bit bigger, 1 pint. It has a cool logo on it.
Yeah, it's got a hippie on a bicycle delivering newspapers, because I guess he did too much chronic, and now he's still delivering newspapers at 50 years old on his bicycle.
That's gonna be. It looks like your bike, except it's red.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a bike I have. Kind of. Yeah. I don't have a sissy bar on the back though. He's got a sissy bar. He's got a surfboard hanging on it though. If you look, he's got a surfboard hanging on it. So that's pretty cool.
And then it says chronic ale on the newspaper, so that must be like the newspaper.
We have brewed more chronic ale overall than any other beer in our vast portfolio at each and every port. It is a crowd pleaser and awesome introduction to craft beer, given its smooth, relatively low alcohol nature. This mellow amber goes good with anything or can be enjoyed all by itself. Cheers.
4% or 4.9%. My bad.
4.9. Yep.
4.9%. Dude, I say we pour it in here.
You want? We can do that. Hey, we're styling this time. We brought the glasses back in. They're Peroni glasses, but we still have glasses here.
Yep. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. Wait, you gotta do the.
Okay, we gotta do beer pour.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Here we go.
Oh yes. Wait.
Yeah, we can check out the color here. Dude, you're even getting the sound effect going there and everything.
That's right. I have to wait a bit, though.
Yeah. It's an ale, so the foam will go down pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's not, dude. You like really jacked that up. Oh man, we got to show that. Look at this. This is a beer drinker, dude. Really? Come on, look at this. He's got like 1 inch of beer, maybe ½ inch, and like 5 inches of head.
My bad.
that's real bad.
Sorry.
That's at least a little better.
A little bit. It'll go down.
Eventually, that'll go down. Maybe towards the end of the show, you might be able to enjoy a little bit of that.
Don't be hating on me,
dude. That's like bad, man. Come on. Here, we gotta
create a sound effect for that.
We got a sound effect like do 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 do. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Here, mine, dude. Beat that. What do you think of that? Beat that one, baby.
Is that like a baby or something?
That's supposed to be a baby cry. All right, here we go. Cheers.
Cheers. Well, not that I can't really drink mine, but.
That's smooth. It's a pretty smooth ale. I like that.
No, it is. It's good.
Yeah. I can see why they would brew a lot of it, too. I mean, for you guys that are brewers out there, ale is one of your easiest beers of all to make. Very fast, easy to make beer. It's not too bad, though.
That is good. That's really smooth.
Yeah, it's very, very smooth beer.
I like it.
So we got a couple things we wanted to talk about, too. I don't know if you guys caught it last night on 60 Minutes. I know I watched it. It was...
I was working.
You were working, yeah. It was on the diocese out of Buffalo, New York. A woman, she's called the whistleblower now, apparently brought up stuff about sex scandals going on in the Catholic Church, and we know we've heard about these going on over and over forever.
For years, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, since I was a little kid, they've talked about sex scandals.
Yeah, the altar boy.
I always joke around. I always say, do you think somebody screwed up when they wrote celibate and it was supposed to be celebrate?
I don't even know who came up with that. That's pretty good.
You should all celebrate, or instead of be celibate. I think somebody screwed up in their writings one time. Some guy, can you imagine some guy, because they had scribes back then. He's sitting there scribing this thing. He goes, let's change this one letter, and the whole future of the Catholic Church ends up screwed up.
Really?
Because I mean, if you think about it, the disciples were married.
Yeah.
Peter got married.
Yeah.
He had a wife. And then these guys don't want to take on, women, whatever. So they take on little boys instead.
I was listening to another podcast about a week and a half ago, and I don't remember what he had gone to do, but he had gone to like a traditional Catholic upbringing after high school.
Okay.
To become like a devout Catholic priest, and probably about 6 months, 8 months into it, he realized that it just wasn't for him. And the guy interviewing him was like, "Well, why wasn't it for you?" And he's like, "Dude, I couldn't do the whole celibacy thing."
Yeah, I mean,
and he's like, "So I had to get out." And he's like, "I had to find another way to."
Well, at least he realized it, and understood it, versus some of these priests that are out there now. I mean, this woman's blowing the whistle on what the church is doing, and this bishop apparently is not it's almost like scapegoating. From what I was watching the show last night, he's picking out a few priests from his dossier, picking out a few of them that he needs to basically just throw under the bus. That we're going to remove them and strip them of their priesthood.
They all need to be removed under the bus if they are,
if they've been caught, any of them,
right?
Yeah, and this woman has found that, I guess he's throwing, I don't know what it was, I'm throwing a number up there. It was like 16 or 60, out of hundreds and hundreds of them that have been caught. And she's got the list of all of them.
Really?
And some of them go back to, the 70s and 80s. Some of these priests have been around for still a while. I mean, there was one report that they kept talking about, this one particular priest, that back in the 80s he was having sex with a 15-year-old girl that was in his congregation
or congregation.
Yeah, in his congregation, he's having sex with a 15-year-old girl at the time. And he's an old adult man. This is uncalled for, and who knows how many others. This is just one that came forward that he got caught with.
Yeah.
So, but apparently, since the church didn't do anything back at the time, they deemed that there was nothing truly found or nothing found, but yet he did it, and so they weren't going to do anything. So rather than bring it up nowadays, even though they knew he did it back then, this particular bishop turns around and says, well, if we bring something up, it's just going to cause more of a scandal today. Because we should have done something back then, was kind of his point of attitude.
So did 60 Minutes bring up, is like the government going to get involved, or
they didn't? And
I mean, because that's another question to pose. Is this a line that they can intervene and be like, no, this is definitely crossing the line?
Well, there's no doubt it's crossing the line, but here's the thing: I don't know. I'm not an attorney, so I don't know if there's any type of statute of limitations on that either. Should they have gone after him back then, for this sex crime, or has some statute run out now? That I don't know. So it's kind of interesting that I wouldn't think there would be, but maybe there is.
Well, I mean, I don't know that either. I mean, I'm obviously not an attorney, but I would think that if this lady was bringing up recent offenses, those could be charges brought.
Yeah, and she's bringing up, I think, some recent stuff too, but most of it's older stuff. It sounds like she's bringing up that the church just never kind of swept it under the rug and didn't do anything about. Now, I did read another article. I did see another one that.
But is it documented? Is all that old stuff documented?
Yes, the church has documents on all of this stuff, and that's what she turned over to a reporter. So she kind of anonymously turned it over to a reporter at one point in time, and it all came out, and then eventually she came out and said that she was part of it. Now, here's another interesting part. You talk about admitting some guilt. This particular bishop in back there in Buffalo, he is selling his house. And his house they showed it on the show on 60 Minutes. I'm sitting there looking at his house. I'm like, damn, man, I'd like to have a house like that. I mean, this thing's like
castle?
Yeah, it's a mansion. It's a mansion. I mean, this thing's like, I don't know what it was, 20,000 square feet or something. I mean, it's a mansion, and he's owned it since 1957 or something. I mean, he's owned it a very long time. He's an older guy, obviously, so he's owned it since like 57, and so he decided he's going to sell his house to help pay for the victims. To help pay the victim stuff, yeah. Knowing that these victims are coming forward and probably going to take on lawsuits, who knows? So he's selling his house to do this. But he's refusing to step down from his position. Even though he's the one that he kept saying, oh, and there's a priest that came forward. Get this, there was a priest that came forward even before all this stuff came out. There was a priest that came forward and kept saying, we need to do something about this. We got to do something about it. Mm-hmm. And he kept going up to him saying, we got to do something, to him and some of the other people that are up there. And they were like, they would give him lip service. Like, yeah, we're working on it. We're doing it. Don't worry about it. We're taking care of it. And yet nothing was being done. And he was sick of it too. So he's actually come forward. He's still a priest today. And he knows by doing so, he's risking his job and everything. Right. Because they can strip him of his priesthood pretty damn easy, for doing this. Yeah. But, I mean, that would be vindictive, obviously. Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't put it past me. Wouldn't put it past them to do something like that.
Wouldn't put it past the Catholic Church.
No. I mean, they're just, it's amazing how much they've swept all this under the rug. But they know that these lawsuits are going to come up. And in the show, and I don't know the full hierarchy of the Catholic Church. Right. But apparently what they were saying, too, is the only one that can remove a bishop or strip the bishop from his position is the Pope. That's the only one that can remove the bishop.
Like the Vatican can't do that?
Yeah, the Pope has to. The Pope is the only one that can remove him from his position, right, as a bishop right now. Sorry. So, with that being said, he's refusing to step down, and with all this coming out, now the Pope did just remove that bishop from South America, Venezuela, or wherever that was recently. He did remove one for sex scandals because the bishop was not handling it properly. Okay. It sounds like similar to this bishop. So I'm wondering if this guy's going to be, maybe you should step down. Maybe you should take like an early retirement, dude, instead of,
I think the Pope just needs to sign it into their doctrine or their law that they can get married. Or they can,
like I said, let's celebrate instead of being celibate.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, come on, it's one letter difference.
Right, exactly. So.
Well, this Pope has already done some controversial stuff anyway. I mean, he's changed the what's the prayer everybody does? Oh my God, my mind's going.
St. Mary's?
Not St. Mary's.
Not St. Mary's.
The Christ prayer that everybody does.
Lord's Prayer?
Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven. He's actually changed that.
How has he changed that?
This Pope has changed it to where instead of like a forgiveness of trespasses and all this, he's changing some of the way the wording of it to fit
the
society
cultural
today.
Or the cultural
to fit
secular.
To fit culture today.
We're talking about it tonight.
Yeah.
Secular bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. So he's changing
New Ageism, millennialism, whatever
yeah.
you want to call
Here,
it.
this has been the words for 2,000 years.
Right.
And this dude's like, nah, we gotta change this, man. I'm not too keen on this stuff. You know, it's like,
I think
really?
It was Spurgeon, or Charles Spurgeon, a great theologian, said, and he taught in the 1800s, but he said when the Church of God, what did he say? When the Church of God has like less influence over the world, and they start conforming to the actual culture, then there's a problem there.
yeah.
So,
Which we've seen the church do that
Right.
for quite some time now.
for thousands of years, or I mean, not for thousands of years, but for it seems like a trajectory. Just nothing has changed under the sun.
Look at it today. How much the church is changing to conform to culture or conform to politics or, conform to governmental pressure. Or
Well, you have political agendas that are being brought up by multi-level churches or mega churches.
Yeah.
And so, and it's like the church shouldn't be like that. I don't.
Well, the
feel,
church should never
Democrat or
choose sides.
Republican. Right. And so, and that's the big difference between separating the church and the state.
There was the article that we went over a while back. I mean, you look at it, a church, politically wise, if they choose a side, let's say a church supports Trump. Just throwing a scenario out there.
Okay.
I don't want to piss everybody off, but let's say a church supports Trump. Now you have somebody who's a seeker that's thinking about going to that church, and next thing you know, they're looking at it going, oh, wait a minute, that means if I go to that church and I become a Christian, well, I've got to like Trump.
Right.
But I don't like Trump. Or vice versa.
Right.
Hillary
or whatever it is.
Hillary or whoever else is going to run
Sanders
nowadays,
It is, yeah.
It's you can't do that because, we had a guy in our I thought this was the best thing. We had a guy in our group a while back, and I don't give names, but we had a guy. He said, could you imagine being you're up there in judgment seat, right? You're sitting there on judgment seat, Christ is looking at you, and all of a sudden he says, remember that post you put on Facebook about your political affiliation and all of that and how you combined it with maybe your faith?
I remember this.
And
that turned somebody away.
And that turned somebody away who was thinking about changing their faith and following me. And next thing you know, they turned away because they thought in order to follow me, they had to be like that.
Well, it's ultimately...
Could you imagine finding that out?
Whatever you classify it as, we'll take the political side, like a church supports Trump or a church supports Hillary. That is, in essence, like a little g God, if you think about it. And when... the word says, don't have any other gods before me. And so, being a Christian should be your identity. And so it shouldn't be Democratic or Republican or Independent or Libertarian or whatever it is. Or it should be Christian, and then from there we can discuss our political beliefs elsewhere or, our Christian beliefs or whatever it is. But we shouldn't define ourselves by...
So I read a story the other day. It was kind of interesting. It's funny you talk about identity. So I read a story, and the story was how sports are killing men in this country. Sports. And it's not literally like killing, but it's destroying their mental state, right?
Okay.
And I thought that was interesting because I actually did a whole paper on this a while back when I was in theology school. It was a school on identity. It was a thing on identity, a paper on identity. And for men, what's the first thing a man comes up and says when they usually introduce each other? Hi, my name's Jeff. My name, your name's Matt.
Where do you work?
What do you do or where do you work? Yeah, right? That's the first thing men will do because they find identity in work, right? But men also find identity in the second after that is a lot of sports teams. And they always wear the sports memorabilia, or if their team loses, they're fully depressed, or they find such an identity in a sports team that it causes fights, it causes division. like what you see in politics today. It's like, oh, you like that team, I like this one, so screw you, I don't like you.
Well,
you know, kind
almost,
of attitude.
You know, all the campaigns and you know, political propaganda going on right now, and even I mean, football games, baseball games. If somebody from we'll say an Asian country or European country came over to the United States that had no like recollection or had no like affiliation with us at all, and they went to one of our sports arenas or they went to a political campaign, they would be like, you guys worship this person, or you guys worship this team.
Yeah.
You guys get dressed up for them. You guys, you know,
but in contrast, you go to a lot of these other places and they do the same thing, especially when it comes to sports.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sports teams around the world do that, though. That's
Right.
something people identify with around the world. I mean, I was in, you know, in Europe. You know, spend a lot of time there. It's football there, soccer. So and you see, I mean, it's just when it comes on, it's like every business around is closed because they're at the bar watching the soccer game.
No, I get it. I go to night games all the time. And,
Yeah, I mean,
I get
you're
lit.
the night games.
And
Yeah,
So I mean, it's a party in there.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's nighttime, every single game, and so it doesn't matter if we win or we lose or whatever happens. And
everybody's just having a good time.
Well, yeah, but it's like, you know, when does it come to the point where you don't say it, but yes, you are worshiping this team, or yes, you are, you know, oh well, Trump or Hillary's going to get us out of this thing. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
I mean, give me a break.
No, they're not. It ain't gonna happen.
So
one person is not going to get this. One person is not going to change the entire economy. One person is not going to stop all world wars.
Right.
It's not going to happen
ever.
Yeah.
So you need to get that out of your head.
One person does not make all the decisions for everybody. You know,
Right.
It doesn't work that way. But everybody thinks they are. You know, I think that nowadays, I think the president really has become more of a scapegoat.
Oh, he has, of course.
Either a scapegoat or a credit taker.
You know,
if something comes through, it's like, oh, it was all me. Even
well,
though it wasn't.
I think it's weird because when I think we can agree when Bill and or when Bill Clinton and George Bush were in office, there wasn't as much social media going around. I mean, the internet has taken off in the past 15, 20 years.
Man, I had a MySpace account back then.
Did you?
I had MySpace, dude. MySpace was like
Was I your top friend?
Dude. What's that?
Was I your top friend?
I don't even know if you were even born yet.
I was. I remember telling myself when I was in 10th grade, I was like, what's Facebook? I've already sold my soul to MySpace. I'm never going to get a Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, I remember telling myself that. And then I remember Mike got a Facebook, and I was like, what are you doing, man? Because I had first met him. And then it just...
And then MySpace went BK or
right,
whatever happened.
It became a dating site or something like that.
Well, that's kind of what MySpace started as originally. It was like a dating site. Because I think I got my first MySpace account... Oh my gosh, must have been 2004, 5,
do you remember,
6.
Do you remember Tom, the creator of MySpace?
No.
The guy with the white shirt.
No.
And he had the picture. It was your first friend.
Oh yes,
on MySpace.
That's it. Yes,
okay.
I do remember that.
There's this meme. There's this meme, and it's his face, and he's looking back, right? And it's like, and it says, it was a couple months ago when Zuckerberg was in trouble or whatever, and he was in front of the court, and he says, the face you make when your company doesn't get scandaled or whatever he's getting, and then there's Zuckerberg's face that looks totally like dumbfounded in front of the court that everyone has seen, but it's just like okay.
Dude, I remember MySpace. Man, I went and looked and found my MySpace thing like 5 years ago. It was still active. I don't remember the login. I don't remember passwords. I can't get into it, but I remember it was my account was still out there somewhere on some server because I found the picture of me. It was a picture of me snowboarding off a jump doing a tail grab.
Yeah,
that was my screenshot.
Okay.
So I bit the dust when I landed, but it was an awesome picture that I took in the meantime.
I remember backgrounds, man, and everything.
Yeah, that was what my background picture.
Yeah.
So
no, that's cool.
I was coming off a jump, and I reached up and I grabbed the thing, and then I just didn't quite get the board back in time to land it. But cool. We didn't have that in the picture. We had a nice picture of the tail grab.
So hey, we didn't talk about this before, but I had a question. have you heard anything about? We're not allowed to call them LDS anymore, but the Latter-day Saints changing their name.
You know, I have. Yeah, apparently they're not LDS. They're not Mormons anymore. In fact, here, I'm going to Google it while we're sitting here talking, because I do remember that. Let's see. I'm going to put. Yeah, I know you guys can't see this, but Mormons. We'll just say that Mormons
Change
name.
Just say name.
Name. Let's see what it's going to be. Mormons don't want to calling themselves Mormons anymore.
See, and this is CNN, mind you.
This is CNN now, yeah.
Mind you.
So the Church of Latter-day Saints,
Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
is embracing a rebranding effort of sorts. Commonly referred to as Mormons, really wants to people to stop using the word and stop using LDS an abbreviation. From now on, they want to be called just the Church, or the Church of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
So what do you call an individual then? Because
Right.
as an individual, you call them a Mormon.
Right.
So am I supposed to just call somebody a church now? Hey, church, how you doing, man? So you're a church.
Right. Which, biblically, that's incorrect.
I know. The church is the group.
Right.
So
Where 3 or more people have gathered. According
yeah,
to
so
Christ.
apparently it refers that people use the church's full name when shortened reference is needed to just the church, so that's a short version,
Okay.
or Church of Jesus Christ. Okay, so what do you call a person then? Do I not call them a Mormon anymore?
Or an LDS or a Latter-day Saints follower?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to call them Mormons.
Nah, me too.
They're always going to be
Yeah,
Mormons.
they're always going to be Mormons. I don't know. I thought.
If you're a Mormon,
But think about.
you're a Mormon.
Think
You always
about,
will be.
Think about. It was.
I mean,
it
it
was
is the Book of Mormon.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the prophet's going to do about that. But it was the prophet a couple months ago that said this isn't going to work, or we're no longer calling ourselves Mormon. We're calling ourselves Latter-day Saints.
Yeah.
And then the past year, I mean, how many, celebrities came out and did commercials and said, "I'm Mormon," and I mean, think of the elder. I mean, just think about
Well,
it.
that was the previous elder that did that. And he was using. The previous elder was doing a campaign for the Mormon Church.
But think about all the elders right now. They're going like, "Oh shit."
What the hell's going on?
Because right.
Yeah. Well,
The Book of Mormon. What are we going to change our name? Are we going to change our book name?
Have you seen the play yet?
I've seen it on South Park.
No. I mean, the actual play. I guess they came out with the Book of Mormon play.
No.
I really want to go see that.
Okay.
I really do. Once it comes, it needs to come around to Vegas. If you're listening, the Book of Mormon people, I do want to see the movie or the play. Apparently,
They had it at the Smith Center, I think.
yeah. Apparently, it makes fun of the whole Mormon Church.
Okay.
Now, this is what I really liked about what the Mormons did with this. Whenever we see a movie come out, a Christian movie come out, supposed to be Christian, whether it is or not, or whatever it's going to be, you always see these group of dumbass Christians that want to go out and protest it for whatever stupid reason.
Okay.
It's just not quite biblically correct, or, well, Christ never did that.
Well, Calvinism is right and Arminianism is wrong.
No, Arminianism's right. But, I mean, so anyway, that's, you see these idiots go out and protest. All you see is protest from the Christian church, right? So, could you imagine the Christian church, a movie or a play, making fun of it coming out like that? What the Christian church would do? They'd just go apeshit.
They would.
The Mormon church embraced it.
They did.
Instead of doing that, what they did is, as you left the theater, or when you bought your tickets or in there, they would say, okay, now that you saw the play, why don't you come check out the real thing?
Right.
So they actually used it as almost like an evangelism tool.
Kind of like a ploy.
Yeah, they embraced it, and I thought, that is awesome.
And here's the thing, like the LDS faith, I mean, they have, and I'm sorry for calling it LDS, but they have, very, very solid, family background. I mean, they mimic, how Christians should act and how Christians should walk.
Yeah.
I know that their faith, I'm sorry if this offends anybody, is batshit crazy, but...
I love Mike's thing tonight, what
What'd he
Mike
say?
talked about, hedging the bet.
Oh, gosh. That was hilarious.
So for those of you that don't know, and I thought it was great, I'm going to talk about Mike because he's not here.
Yeah. Hey, let's flip him off.
Yeah, let's flip him off. Mike, that's for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you're probably listening too. So here's a quadruple double.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 thumbs up, buddy.
Yeah.
But anyway, oh man, where the hell was I going with all this? Oh, Mike talked my head in his bed. So he has these Mormons come to us. You know, they come to your house, they knock on the door and everything. He invites them in. They're trying to get him to become Mormon. So he goes, well, you know what? Here's the thing. As much as your church is growing,
which is growing,
believe it or not, it's growing. Well, they're out there, they're knocking doors and stuff, so it's going to.
A lot more than the Christian faith is.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
So they're knocking doors, and he goes, the chances are I'm going to have somebody in my family, you know, in the next few years or kids or some or generation, that's going to end up being Mormon. Well, under the Mormon faith, when you baptize in Mormon faith, you baptize all the previous family members too, into Mormon, all the ones that have died, into Mormonhood also. That way, they end up getting saved. In theory. In what they believe in, right? They're the ones that will be saved. So he's like, so I'm hedging my bet here because if I go with the Christian faith...
And I'm wrong. Hey, let's just go with I'm right. And I'm right, and I win.
But if I'm wrong and you guys are right... I'm good either way. Yeah, I bet that's classic, man. That is awesome.
Fist bump.
Boom. I mean, I never thought of that, but it's so true.
I'm gonna tell my mom that tomorrow.
It's like, so, well, they don't come to my door anymore.
No, they don't.
I've been blacklisted.
Have you?
Yeah, apparently I'm blacklisted. I didn't know they did this until somebody told me that I question too much. So when they come out, because I've read the Book of Mormon a couple of times.
So have I.
So after reading it, and then I can sit down with them and have this discussion with them, and they don't seem to like it. It's kind of funny. So about 6 months ago, I sat and watched them coming down my street. And I knew I'm blacklisted, right? So I already knew it. So they go to the house as I'm looking out on the left of me. They go out, they skip my house, and they start up my neighbor's driveway, right? Well, I'm out there working on my truck.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, beautiful day, isn't it? And they're like, sure is, you know? So
they probably had no idea. They were just told not to come to your house.
Exactly. They don't know why, right? I was like, beautiful day, isn't it? And they're like, sure is. And I'm like, boy, Christ makes beautiful days, doesn't he? I mean, I'm trying to egg them on, right? And they're like, well, yes, he does. And I said, so let me ask you guys, so which one of you is the elder and which one's the student? Because they always go with an elder person and then one that's learning, right? Well, he's and they look like the same age. I mean, they're just young kids. They're like, well, he's the elder. And I'm like, great. Can I ask you a couple questions?
Gosh, you would. So.
Oh, my God. It was hilarious.
So this is probably 10 years ago. Back when I first met Mike. And we can talk about him all we want. I was going to
We're going to talk about you, Mike.
Yeah. I was going to a men's group that met on... at his house on Thursday. On Thursday nights, and it was very, very cool because Mike is Mike, and the other guy was kind of more.
I got one from Mike. Hey, buddy.
And the guy he was living with was more kind of even hardline than him, right? And so, and they would hold this men's group on Monday nights. And so it's probably, the men's group started at like 7 o'clock. It's going on like 6:30. Knock at the door. And so, all right, and they think it's the guys showing up for the men's group.
LDS.
It is. And they're like, hey, do you want to,
Did they get him to join the group?
No, they're like, hey, have you heard about that? And the guy, I'm not going to say his name, but he's like, why don't you come on in? Yeah. He's like, let's sit down, yeah. And so I get there at like 7:15, and
were the guys still in there?
Yeah, they were still there, and they're talking with him, and more guys started showing up, and the guy that was kind of leading the group with Mike was like, hey, this isn't a weird thing. Like, we hold a Bible study here on Monday nights. You guys are welcome to hang out if you want, and ask questions or whatever it is. And they ended up hanging out for a while, and they actually
that's actually awesome.
Yeah, they knew their faith. Very, very solid.
That's good.
But
they should.
Yeah, they should. It was more like you said, the elder that knew.
They knew he knew
kind of where the other kid, I'll say, was just kind of like huddled in the corner because the guy leading the men's group was just, hounding away questions and trying to show him Jesus in the best way he could, because that's the only way you're really going to get through them. It's just, you can't debate, you can't argue, you just have to show them Christ.
Yeah. There's no point in arguing. It's not going to get you anywhere.
Right.
Not like those Bible thumpers we see on the strip or something, beating the crap out of it. That's just, that's stupid.
Turn or burn. But, no, and they hung out for like half hour, 45 minutes, and they left, and we're like, if you want to come back, you can. We never see them again.
I love to do that with of course they're not going to come back, because they went back and they told their elder,
and the elder's like,
no, you ain't going back to that shit. No way. So, we walk Fremont Street or the Strip. I love going up to those guys.
The Bible thumpers?
The Bible thumpers, because I'll start challenging them with questions.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because they never know. They don't know their shit. Like what you described, none of them ever do. I can sit and start asking questions, and they will not know, which is really sad.
Me and Mike went on the MROP a couple years ago. There was a guy that we picked up at the airport, and we took him to it as well. It's a men's rites of passage that it's kind of like a
bunch of guys running around naked around a fire drinking beer.
Pretty much. Weekend getaway, or Wednesday through Sunday getaway. Yeah. But we picked up this guy at the airport to take the other couple hours, and he was LDS as well. And of course we're Christian, and we started talking this dialogue, and he was totally cool as well, but he knew his faith as well.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them are pretty solid.
Yeah. And I'm okay with that.
And so
they should know.
They should.
Most people should know. I mean, we call ourselves beer drinkers with a Bible fetish because we study.
Yeah.
I mean, we do study. We know our book. Not as good as a lot of people out there, but we still know our book. We still study it. Spend a few hours a week just looking it over and reading and going through it. I mean, I do at least.
Yeah.
A couple hours in the morning, or at least an hour in the morning or so in prayer and everything else. That's pretty normal.
Yeah.
It's just the way it should be. Hey, let's crack another beer.
Hey, I have to say.
We got to rate this one.
No, are you proud of me?
What's that?
I finished it.
You did. You finished it.
See?
Yeah, you didn't finish it last week, did you?
The last time I was on here.
All right, so let's do some.
And look, there's nothing in there.
Let's do some chronic ale. You know what? I'm actually going to rate this one kind of high. I like this.
So do I. I could. Or what were you saying?
I say it's a good ale. And it says there it's their top beer.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't had much Pizza Port beer, so I don't know much about them. And like I said, I picked it up just because the can was cool. I thought the can was really cool. I'm actually going to give this like a 1.75.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a 1.8. And so this.
We go in quarters, dude.
Oh, fine. I'll do a 1.75 as well.
1.75. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could see me like having this beer like out at Parkway or something, or something like that, and just be like, hey, give me a chronic ale.
This is something you can drink more than one. You can have a few of them because there's a lot of beers out there. It's like, oh, these are really damn good. But after one or two, you don't want any more than that. This I can have a few.
Yeah, and it's good too because it's like it's not too light. To where it's like or fruity or whatever. It's just like, gosh, I'm not even getting anything, but it's not heavy either. Where it's like, fuck, I just had a meal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, which is going to be our next beer.
Right.
Again, ales are one of the easiest ones to brew.
Yeah.
So when you brew beer, it is one of the easiest ones. In fact, I got another one brewing right now too, so I'll have to bring that on later.
Yeah.
You haven't tried my beer, have you? Mm-mm. I'll bring you one. Mike and I actually rated it on the show.
Okay.
And my last beer, I have a few bottles left, maybe a 12-pack left. I did a red Oktoberfest.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's actually really good. A red ale Oktoberfest.
One of the ones...
and it's a double hop.
Really?
And we both rated it as a 1.75.
Really?
I mean, it was, believe it or not, it was actually one of the highest beers. There's 3 beers now. I remember there's 3 beers that have got 1.75 by both of us. Nobody's gotten a 2 yet, which I feel bad. Somebody's going to get 2 eventually.
Yeah.
But there's been 3 beers.
That's going to be a good fucking beer.
Yeah, there's 3 beers. Well, I already know one that I would give a 2 to. And I might just bring one on sometime.
The Dogfish.
Dogfish, yeah. I would just, it's one of my favorite beers ever. For you guys out there that haven't tried it.
It's 18%.
It's like 17, 18%. It's a Dogfish IPA 120. They make a 60, a 90, and a 120. Now, what that means, for you beer lovers, you might know this. For anybody else out there, 60 minutes. Generally, like an ale or something like that, you actually boil it for 60 minutes. Most beers you boil for 60 minutes. Some you can go longer. You can double. Like my red I did a 90-minute double hop.
Really?
So I did it for a little longer. Came out a lot smoother that way. Plus I double hopped it through it, but I took away the hoppy taste by making it longer too. It does take away the hop taste. So that's how I did that one, and it drove the alcohol. Plus I drove alcohol levels up on it too.
Okay.
I didn't hydro test it, and I should have. I don't really know what it is, but I'm guessing by the way I made it, it's probably about 8. So the one that I'll get you a bottle.
Okay. Cool.
But
I have a bunch too as well. One of my other mentors gave me. They're just they're single bottles, and they are very similar.
Yeah.
And so me and you could have one and just kind of cater back and forth.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
So yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
And then
anyways, this one's 1.75, and so definitely higher.
Yeah, there's like I said, there's been 3 that have got 1.75 now. This one. There's one, in fact, I went and bought some more of it yesterday because I actually liked it so much when we rated it. Because a lot of these beers, by the way, guys, this is the first time we're ever drinking them.
Yeah.
A lot of these beers, every now and then you'll see us do a common beer or something like that of course, we've had before, and we're going to rate it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, most of these are beers that we've never, ever drank prior to this moment, just so you know. This one I've never had this prior to this moment. I don't know if you have, but I've never had this.
Some lime green crap.
Yeah, so a little chronic ale.
Yeah.
So good stuff. For our next beer,
I can grab it right now.
You want to grab it?
Yep.
Our next beer is going to be, we're going to go a little bit on the dark side. Here, watch. We got to put this up. You know what? I need a black one of these with like a black Superman. If you notice on the show here, I wear a lot of Superman and stuff. I like Superman. Superman's cool. See, I remember I grew up watching Superman with my dad all the time. The original Superman. That's probably why maybe I like Superman. It means a lot to me because I watch it with my dad all the time.
Have you ever seen, I'll show it to you after, it's called Badman versus Superman?
Batman versus?
No, Badman.
Badman, no,
like
I've never seen it.
B-A-D, man. It's a little clip on YouTube. You should look it up. It's like, they meet, so Superman sends out the bat signal or whatever.
How long is it?
It's like 5 minutes.
Oh, it's long. Okay. I would say it was only a couple minutes. I can throw it on real quick.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's funny as heck. But it's called Badman versus Superman. And so Superman sends out the bat signal, and they meet out at the rooftop or whatever. And Superman's like, Batman, I think it's time that we...
I am Batman.
Right. I think it's time we join up. We've been fighting together for years, but I think it's time we join up. And Batman's like, what? Why? And Superman's like, what? And he's like, and Superman's like, your fighting skills alone are, unmatched. And Batman's like, Bane broke my bat. Pretty much a roided out jock with a gas mask. You could have broken his back with one punch. And Batman's like, why would we ever join up together? He's like, I'm crazy. And so, but anyways, so that's kind of funny.
All right, let's get this one going. Here. Before we do this, we got...
Dude,
that was... Okay, this sound effect says cheers. I fully expected it to say, like, cheers or something.
Do you remember Cheers the show?
Oh, dude. Norm was, like, the best. Norm, man. I mean... Okay, there's a guy. So I was at Parkway the other day. And I don't know if you guys know where Parkway is. Parkway over here in Vegas.
Village.
I know some of you guys aren't from Vegas.
There's a couple of them.
Tivoli Village, you'll find me hanging out at Tivoli Village.
Me too, quite
if you see me there ever, come by and say hi.
Yeah.
But there's one guy there that he's drank more beers than anybody else.
Are we talking... I think we're talking...
It's not Dripo now. Another guy took it. No, not the other one. That guy's done. He stopped at 2,000-something different beers. The new guy's almost hit 3,000 now. And now, to get this, what they do is they have what's called a beer god. And what you do is you have to log different beers. You buy the beer and then you log it. It has to be a different beer to log it. If you drink, like, 3 Bud Lights, that logs as 1.
Okay.
But you can only log that beer once ever, too. So if you go in again, bring another Bud Light, it doesn't count.
Right.
So it has to be different beers. So this guy's up to almost 3,000 different beers.
That's pretty
Now,
cool, actually.
It resets every 250 or every 400, something like that, where you can drink the same ones again. So they do reset it. But they're always changing their beers every single week, too.
Right.
So, yeah. Because I'm up, I just broke. It's taken me almost 2 years to do it.
How many are you at now?
I just broke 150.
Okay.
But I don't drink a lot of different ones there. So
Good for you.
Anyway.
All right, so do the pour.
We have the pour going.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now this one will create a head that'll last. Ooh, this smells. Just that smell.
Are we going to pour it or not?
It would look good pouring it. All right, guys, this one, what we're doing is we're doing a coffee stout. This is why we chose this one last.
Craft House? Hoose? How do you say that?
Craft. I think it's supposed to be Craft House.
Craft House Brewery, Belgard Cold Brew.
Coffee stout.
So I love coffee, man.
Where's this one from? I don't even know where it's from. We'll look it all up and I'll post the specs. But I don't even think it says. It's 30 IBUs. So, wow, it's nice they put that on there. Not a lot of them do. 5.2 ABV and 30 IBUs. So, it shouldn't be too strong at a 30. Oh, dude, now I jacked that up.
Now you show them. Show them
I
what
ain't
you
showing
did.
that. I jacked that up. Damn. Now you're going. I poured that way too fast. It almost spilled over. Yeah. Okay, I went from 1 inch. I've got like 3 now. I expected the foam to be a lot more dense than that. It's going down pretty quick, so that's all right. I'm gonna taste it out of the can here. All right, so
I'll do the same.
Let's do a taste.
Cheers. Hey.
Cheers. That is a strong coffee taste. That really is.
I could like.
You like that? That is a lot of coffee flavor in that.
It is.
That's like just drinking a cold coffee almost.
Pretty much, with a little bit of like.
With carbonation
with
to
like
it.
hop, with a little bit of like herbs and I don't want to say herbs, but a little bit of hop in it.
That's like a carbonated cold coffee.
Yeah, like it'll fill you up.
Yeah.
Like
that's really what this is like.
Like oh my gosh.
I'm gonna be up half the night now. Go home, can't sleep, be up half the night.
Yeah.
You know that happens sometimes. I come home from these shows, and I will actually sit there sometimes like I'm just zoning, just can't go to sleep. Can't go to sleep. I do, because I'll drink a couple beers here, and then by the time I get home and stuff, I'm like, man, I can't sleep. I'll sit up playing solitaire or something stupid, or reading a book, or just until midnight rolls around or something. Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. Do we have a question that popped up? No, I thought we had a question pop up.
Wait, there's Robert Summers.
Hey, did you guys feel we were under? Do you guys feel that we are under the new covenant? You know what? I will answer that.
Okay.
We're definitely under a new covenant. We're under the covenant of Christ. There's no doubt. So to answer your question, Robert, I will say yes.
You feel to elaborate on that?
I do believe that the Jews are still covered under a covenant. I don't believe that God ever goes back on promises.
Okay.
That wouldn't make him completely holy. That would make him untruthful at that point. He made a promise to them, so I think that's there. But definitely we do have a new covenant of Christ that brought in the Gentiles. So absolutely, to answer your question, Robert, I mean, I can expand on it more, but definitely we're under a new covenant.
Okay.
So.
And also, I would elaborate on that too, that, there's Old Testament theology, and then there's New Testament theology. Or not, well, I don't want to say theology in general, but the Old Testament is, all the rules and the laws, and there's over 600 of them that you had to fulfill. Where with Christ, the New Covenant, he is that sacrifice.
Well, he came and fulfilled the
right,
first,
and made that kind of new covenant.
Yes.
And so, if that helps.
Yeah, hopefully that helps you.
Yeah.
I mean,
and so we can elaborate on that if you want.
Elaborate, type up some more questions if you want. That's cool.
So does that make sense? So I guess Christ came to fulfill.
Well,
he didn't came to. Well, it says in the Word. He didn't came to destroy the law. He came to fulfill and create a new covenant.
Yeah, exactly. So, and drink beer.
Well, what was this? his first.
Holy
I don't want
water.
to say it was his first miracle.
His first miracle in the Bible.
In the Bible.
That's his first miracle. We don't know for sure. I mean, maybe there's something that's not written, but his first miracle in the Bible, turning water to wine.
That's right.
And it was the best damn wine there is. For you guys that don't know, a little history there. Weddings back then lasted about a week. Wedding ceremonies. So this would have been going on for about a week in Jewish tradition. So at that point in time, they would have already been partying for several days, and they ran out of wine. So, and it's a slap on the face to the host if you ever run out of wine. So Christ kind of helped them out and made some more wine. And typically back then too, you always serve your best wine on the first day or two.
Well, I'd have been like, you guys ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, here we go, man. I'm throwing the best stuff out there, which kind of upset people too, because if you look at it, they're going, "Hey, we should have gotten this right off the bat."
Right.
Because you always, I mean, it's like drinking beer. You always drink your best beer first, and you drink your PBR second. You know, I mean,
don't let Dennis
making fun of you, Dennis. But yeah, that's pretty typical. So that's tradition back then. Was it lasted about a week? Anyway, weddings did. Parties lasted about a week. It was a lot. And we try to apply, that's something we do. We try to apply our today's times to back then and what their traditions are, and sometimes it doesn't work.
Well, yeah.
We have to look at some of that.
I mean, I think if you were to compare the church today compared to the church back then, we might be getting off topic a little bit, but I mean, it was totally different.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so... but we have to compare it. I mean, we have to try and align ourselves with that.
Yeah,
I guess.
Well,
what I'm trying to say.
You know, it's back then. If you think about it, the persecuted church grew more than it did today.
It did.
I mean, you look at today, and you look at countries like China or something, where they're, you know, some of the news stuff I pull up is on persecution. We are not persecuted here.
Well, no,
if you're from the United States or in the Western world and you say you're persecuted, screw you. We're not persecuted by any stretch. You know,
I mean, look at this. We can make fun of. I mean,
we make fun of ourselves. We make fun of whatever
LDS,
we want. We
can make fun of
we make fun of ourselves. We make fun of all of them. I mean, because let's face it, everybody in the church is a person. They're people. They're all screw ups.
Right.
We're all screw ups. It's just nobody's perfect. Nobody gets out of this alive. You know, and screwing up. So it was.
Gets out of this alive. That sounds like a lyric.
Nobody gets out alive. You know, it's funny because I sat there as Mike brought it up a couple weeks ago, and I was thinking about it the other day. You look at the blaming thing that happens in society today. You know, it's their fault, his fault, and you look at what Adam did, and Mike brought it up a couple episodes ago. I think he brought it up here. He may have brought it up elsewhere. But look at Adam when God comes around. So he's standing there with Eve, right? Mm-hmm. Picture this. They're standing there. The serpent comes up and says, "Hey, you want to be like God, man? Just eat this apple." Well, now pride takes over. And it's like, yeah, we want to be like him, you know, because we're sitting talking to him and conversing with him all the time. We can see him. We're hanging out with him, but he's a lot bigger than I am. So I want to be like him. So, yeah, I'll go ahead and eat that apple. So Eve eats the apple, right? Then she turns around and hands it to Adam. Well, then they realize they fucked up.
Right.
Oh, shit, we fucked up. This isn't good, right? So...
we've just doomed humanity forever.
We just well, I don't think they really understood that part, but we fucked up. So they disperse. They're getting clothes and stuff, you know, hiding my nakedness, and which they're themselves. They're hiding. Right. It's not the body. It's just everything what they did. Right. So they're hiding that. So anyway, God comes looking for it. The first person he looks for, of course, is Adam. Right. The leader of the family. Right. You know. Sorry, women, but typically males are the leader of the family. So that's why God comes and looks for him. So now he's sitting there talking to him, and God says, "Well, you know, what'd you do?" Well, of course, I knew what he did.
I already know what you did.
Yeah, and
what did you do?
Adam's like, "Well, you know,
she gave
it to me. It's her fault. She did it." You know, God, He picture God going, and he goes, "No, wait a minute, God. In fact, you know what? You made her." Since you made her...
it's your fault.
It's your fault, dude. It ain't mine. It's hers and yours.
I can just imagine being like, all right, are you done yet? Just shut up.
Think of the fucking cojones that Adam had to have to sit and look at God and go, dude, it's your fault. I know you just made me. You made all this stuff around me and everything, but, dude, it's all your fault. You shouldn't have made the apple, dude. You made her. You made the apple. It's not mine. It's not me. Dude, that took some cojones to do that. So, yeah, Mike and I were laughing about that the other day. I don't know if it was on a show or we were just sitting there bullshitting, but that's... I've told that story now to a few people, and I think most people don't realize that when you tell them, they're like, yeah, that took some cojones, man.
Took some guts.
The creator of the universe, and you're going to stand up to him like that?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, some other news. The shooting.
Yeah.
At the synagogue. That's pretty devastating. I think everybody out there, anybody listening and stuff, that's something we should pray for them.
Yeah, definitely.
We actually just went over it tonight as in our Bible study tonight.
Men's group, yeah.
In our men's group Bible study in 1 Thessalonians in chapter 5. Mm-hmm. How it talks about being good to everybody. Yep. Don't pay evil with evil. Paul's telling the Thessalonians this in Thessalonica. Yeah. So he's telling them this. So I mean, it's something that we need to strive for in the world. Stop doing this, especially as Christians. Stop being butt heads.
Yeah, stop being. I mean, and not being butthurt when somebody does something to you. Just
And don't be anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it, the question here. Let's see, we got more questions. Isaiah 42, King James Version. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place in the house of Israel. Possess them in the land of the Lord and the servants. And take them captives and the captains.
All right, let me read this again.
Yeah.
Isaiah 14:2. So we have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so Robert Summers, Isaiah 14:2, originally asked the question, do you guys feel that we are under the new covenant? And we obviously talked about that. And then his next response was, the shooting at the Jewish synagogue, I'm just going to read your whole thing, just for other viewers, Robert. And so it says Isaiah 14:2, King James Version, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. They shall rule over their oppressors. And then you continued on, the shooting at the Jewish synagogues. Who are the fake Jews spoken of in the Revelation? So you're actually writing the book on Revelation. I'm actually writing the book on Revelation. So would you care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, okay. If you understand Jewish tradition, under Jewish tradition, most Jews, or many Jews even today, are not actually Jews. They're not of Jewish tradition. In the Jewish synagogues of the day, synagogues were very small. And a Jewish synagogue...
Usually families.
A Jewish synagogue at the time would cater to not just Jews, but you would have proselytes, people that actually converted to Judaism, so they weren't really Jews. You had people who were interested in it, like, hey, what's going on here? Because remember, these are open arena type setups.
Okay.
They're not like a closed building. They were very open.
Well, like the church.
Like the church. It should be very, very open so people can see it. And then you had passerbyers that would come by. So you would have people just like in the Bible where it says, I prophesied in you, I healed in you, I did this with you, talking to Christ now. There are people who said that, and he said, get away from me. Remember, people did that. So just in the Jewish faith, you have the same thing. You have people that claim to be Jews, act like Jews. We have it in Christianity, too. We have people that claim to be Christians. We know
they're hypocrites, yeah.
They're hypocrites. They're not. We have people that claim to be Jews. It's the same thing. They do it for maybe fame. They do it for anything else.
Okay.
And so you're going to have fake Jews. You're going to have that out there in anything. And, of course, Revelation, the book I'm reading, Robert, if you ever look for it, you'll see me. I'm actually I'll have it published probably sometime next year. It's a whole study guide on it. I've been studying it. I started this when I worked on my theology degree when I was going to school for all this. I've taught Revelation several times. So I'm going to point out in it every single point of view in Revelation that you can have, or all the major points of view out there. Obviously, it hasn't happened yet. So in the end, Revelation is a book of hope.
Okay.
So everybody knows Revelation is a book of hope. It's not a book to be terrorized about if you are a Christian or a Jew, because in there they does take Jews too.
Okay.
So if it's not a book of terror, it's a book of hope.
Okay.
Because it's a book about his return.
Okay.
And that's what it's about. And I don't care
what
route you take to get there or where your belief is. It all ends the same way.
Okay.
With premillennialism, if you have, we just talked about it tonight. I talked about the rapture. you know, pre, mid, post rapture. Pre-rapture is something, a newer theology that came around 1830.
Mm-hmm.
It was popularized by 1830 by the Puritans.
They really believe that Christ will come back.
He's basically coming back twice now.
Well, he's came back
total
once,
of 3 times.
If
you believe in pre-trib rapture, you're basically coming back 3 times, because if you read about taking you up in the air, Christ has to take you back, and this is in 1 Thessalonians 4. It's the end verses starting in verse 13.
So not to get off his question though, but the fake Jews. Do you know what he's talking about when he says the fake Jews referred to in Revelation?
Fake Jews would be people posing as Jews.
Okay.
That aren't Jews.
Okay.
You know, we have people posing as Christians that aren't Christians.
So that's what you were alluding to.
That's what I'm referring to. Yeah,
okay.
it's people posing as they're posers.
Okay.
You know, and again, Christ says that in there, get away from me, I never knew you, because people will do things in Christ's name thinking that they're Christian and they're really not.
Right, and that's what he's referring to in Revelation. And you have Jews
doing the same thing, doing the comparison. Along with
it. So does that answer your question?
Hopefully it does.
So hopefully it does. If it doesn't, I mean, you can ask us another, or I mean, you can elaborate on that.
If not, come find me. We'll drink a beer. We can talk more.
Heck yeah, meet us at Parkway.
Yeah, because beer is the nectar of the gods.
From the heavens.
Beer is from the heavens.
Yes.
Beer is awesome.
Oh, there he is, right there. So I had to walk away for a moment. I didn't hear you speak of the new covenant, but the scripture I wanted to bring out on that is Jeremiah 31 through 34.
You know what, Robert? I'm not going to look it up right now, but I will later on, and I will answer your questions on this, because we can go back on chats and do this.
Okay. Do you want to do it in the descriptions?
I can do it in the description.
The comments?
No, I can do it in comments, or I can do it on the top chat later on.
Okay, because we're running down on time, too.
Yeah, I have no problem looking that up and answering questions.
Okay.
So,
and he has all the time in the world.
Not really, but when it comes to stuff like this, I definitely will take the time.
Okay.
So, and do that. Yeah. It's just something I enjoy doing. I teach. If you hit me up, Robert, later on, afterwards, I actually teach Bible studies. He's going to be the co-leader now. He's my new co-leader.
Yep.
So I actually do teach Bible studies to men. I focus on men only.
Yep.
Men are the leaders of society, leaders of the family, leaders of the church. Sorry, women, but it's just the way it is. Love you guys. You guys complete us. You know, kind of like that movie. You complete me.
Well, they work together like a right hand and a left hand.
They do. And so, together they're both a mirror image. Well, if you look in Genesis, they're both a mirror image of God. It takes both.
Right.
So it's not just one.
But anyways, we're getting off that. But yeah, I'm gonna go and look that up too. And so if we can continue this on in the comment section.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you want, And so it's just winding down on time right now. I mean, I would love to. You're one of the only people that have said anything.
Yeah, most people don't ask questions of the Bible. I love it.
Yeah,
I think that's great.
So,
a lot of people don't.
And
so we got some beer questions in the past and other stuff,
so,
but not Bible questions.
Yeah.
As you know, I like to make beer too.
Yeah.
I like to read my Bible and drink beer.
Cool.
So,
did you?
Talking about that accident though? Talk about the shooting.
Oh, okay.
I will say though that it was a terrible thing that happened. I think that we all need to pray. If you look at what's happening, a lot of the news media or a lot of the churches are coming together and praying for them. Because, if you look at it, we try to divide Christians. We should never be anti-Semitic. Christ came to fulfill Jewish prophecy.
Right.
He was a Jew himself.
Okay.
So we cannot discard the Jews, the promise to them. It's still there.
That's right.
You can't throw it in the garbage, because how did that make God look? Like I said earlier. So the promise is still always there. They are the chosen people.
Yeah.
We just got grafted on the tree,
as it talks about. I think to wind this down, what people think in our culture is, it's centered around the Americas. Or the Western
Well, everybody thinks their area is like what
right,
the
but if you
universe.
think about it, we were talking about it tonight. Where will it all happen? It'll happen in Israel or Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And so that is God's chosen people, and it goes back to what we were talking about. The Jews are God's chosen people.
Well, you look at I read a while back, and I brought it up tonight. Is in Revelation, one of the key signs you'll see, obviously, is the temple getting rebuilt.
Right.
Well,
with the Sanhedrin,
I read that a few years ago that the Sanhedrin is actually reformed. They don't have the power they did back in Christ's day. Obviously, they ruled the Jews over them. They were the deciding courts and everything else. The Sanhedrin, But the Sanhedrin itself has been reformed, and they're actually raising money to rebuild the temple. And they're in negotiations. They've raised, millions and millions of dollars to rebuild the temple.
And we've talked about that before too.
So, and they're in negotiations now. And if you look at the Palestinians and the Jews, they're actually one of the most peaceful states they've been at in a long time.
Yeah.
So whether it happens in the next 10 years, but if we ever see that happen, at least we know that, hey, it's getting close, because that has to happen if we're going to fulfill prophecy, correct?
Right.
And of course, prophecies, they've all been fulfilled except for the last few. Israel becoming a state itself was a prophecy, and yet now it's become a state itself. Back in 1946, 48, I mean, my year's kind of wrong there, but somewhere in there, this century, within the last 100 years. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting how you see this happening. These are prophecies in the Bible that are being fulfilled. So Revelation will end up, there's no doubt.
Yeah, happening.
But again, it depends upon your belief too. Whether you're amillennial or premillennialist or whatever you believe in, it's you got to look at the different points of view and then the breakdowns of each one of those two.
Right.
So which is all going to be in the book. It'll all explain that and all the breakdowns, and so it'll be a whole study guide of it. That's what I'm writing.
Cool.
So anyway,
So we're gonna rate this beer.
Well, we got to finish it first, dude.
Yeah, I'm not gonna finish mine.
Dude, really? Are you serious?
I'll try.
You did this last week, dude. Come on. For the guy that likes coffee,
I'll finish.
Did you even put your can in there? Finish it.
I'll finish after the show.
So, but pray for the guys at the synagogue. Yeah. We should be praying to get rid of all evil in the world anyway. I mean, honestly, it's not good. Hey, I want to bring this up though.
Okay.
We got to talk about the space station. Okay.
We do.
We need a space station.
We do.
Okay. Now, Kenneth Copeland, is that his name?
Yep.
Oh, that's what I got to do. Just a second. I got to pull this up because I love making fun of these guys too. Here we go. Here it is. Transition. I am going to fade this in here. Fade. Okay, the meme of the week.
I saved $40 million on taxes
by switching to Jesus. Oh yeah. The prosperity gospel.
Well, it brings up that other meme you said. If things are going right, should you reevaluate? Should you reevaluate your life, because those are keys from the devil actually.
Oh man, it's.
Oh, he said something else. So-called Native Americans, blacks, and Hispanics are the real Jews. The fake Jews are the ones over there with the curly thing hanging off of their.
Well, that would just be an opinion. I mean.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is a Jewish tribe that's been found, I know, in Africa that is of darker skin.
And he also said Christ came from the tribe of Judea of the Southern Kingdom. The Southern Kingdom is primarily black, related through 15. Northern Kingdom,
Yeah, well, they dispersed all over the world, so I mean, I'm not gonna argue that point. There's just no point in that. So.
Yeah. So we can talk about it later if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'll look those verses up for you there, Robert. I'm not gonna argue whether skin color for any of them. So.
Right. The beer, though. How's the beer?
This beer, I'm going to give this beer a 1.5.
I'm going to give it a 1.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? You're just not a dark beer person, are you?
No, I like the ales, man. The ale, I mean, I could drink that for...
You like ales?
Yeah,
okay.
I could do the ales.
See, I thought you'd like the coffee stout.
I love coffee, man. I drink that, religiously. Religiously.
I would give this higher... except for the coffee.
Really?
I think the coffee was a little too strong.
Okay.
So I'm not a coffee drinker.
Okay.
I will when it's really colder and shit outside.
Right.
I'll have a nice cup of coffee to warm.
Just to warm you up, though.
And usually I'll drink coffee either if I'm drinking it to warm myself up or stay awake. I'm drinking cold black ass coffee, right? Okay. But if I just go get a coffee to enjoy, like with the wife or something, I'm drinking that foo-foo crap. Pour in all the whatever they put in coffee. The Starbucks upside.
Can I have a little coffee in my creamer?
Exactly, upside down caramel macchiato soy or some bullshit like
with
that.
With a hint of latte.
Yeah, whatever it is that you want to call it. I don't know. Sometimes people order that stuff, and to me it sounds like they're speaking a foreign language half the time.
But I like ales, and so that is my thing.
That makes sense, though. So. You should come over one of these times when I'm making an ale, dude. You gotta come over and I'll show you how to make them. They're actually an easy beer to make.
All right. So one, and then
it takes a couple weeks. You got a nail.
Yeah,
You can have it about 2-3 weeks.
Wednesday,
you have a nail.
Thursday, Friday.
It takes about 2-3 weeks, and they're done. So they're quick beer to make. So anyway, guys, I want to talk about our space station. Be sure to donate. What we're working on is you can go to GoFundMe. It will be in the description. I'll throw it in there tomorrow.
Okay.
For the GoFundMe, if you go on any back old videos, we have it. Guys, this is really a joke. But what we're doing is we're actually collecting money to build a space station so we can brew some holy water in space.
That's right.
What we're going to do is partner with Elon Musk so that
we can both become cyborgs.
Well, yeah, he's working on the whole cyborg thing. We talked about that last week. So we can be cyborgs in space brewing holy water.
Drinking, not brewing.
Well, we're going to brew.
Brew and drink.
We're going to brew and drink because, see, what we figure is, like Kenneth Copeland, who says that you have to be in a private jet, to be close to God up there. Yeah, that's his excuse anyway. So I'm making fun of you, Kenneth. Anyway, so you have to be flying. Oh, and he can't fly in public either because he can't pray on a private or on a commercial airlines. It just doesn't work. He has to pray in private on his private jet in the air, so he's closer to God.
Okay.
So what we're looking at is we're going to build a space station to brew holy water because it's closer to God, so it'll be more blessed. So when you drink it, you'll be more blessed individual.
Okay.
That's the thought process behind it.
You know, I think
makes complete sense, doesn't it?
When we become cyborgs after Elon Musk makes us cyborgs, he should come up with a way to always make us kind of that drunk kind of feeling.
Really? You just want to be drunk the whole time? I don't know about that. You know, it does say to stay clear-headed in the Bible.
Whatever.
Nighttime's for the drunkards.
Yep.
So, it is nighttime right now, I
One
guess.
more thing. Did you want to talk about the search and rescue?
The 5K?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, guys out there, anybody listening, we'll post this.
Search and rescue. I'm wearing the shirt right now.
Yeah. The flag behind us too, that orange stripe is for search and rescue. That's what the orange stands for. If you thought it was some sort of flag that shouldn't be there, if we did something to know. Orange, actually you see blue for the police. You see how that orange is for search and rescue. I do search and rescue. I volunteer with search and rescue here in Las Vegas. So with that, I'm actually putting on for them a 5K run this weekend. We start running at 8 o'clock. We have a 5K and a 1 miler. You can go online to redrocksar5k.com and you'll find it. You'll find the sign up. You can sign up for the 5K. You can sign up for the 1 mile walk. Get a free T-shirt. Do all that. So kind of a little plug here for because it's something close to my heart. I love doing search and rescue. I love helping people doing that. So that's the whole reason I signed up for it. And then you're going to be joining us pretty soon.
Yeah.
So doing your SAR 101 training.
Yep.
Soon enough. Okay.
That's the idea.
So he'll be with us too. He ran the 5K with us last year.
Yeah.
In fact, he wore my 30-pound backpack to do it. You wore a 30-pound backpack.
Yeah.
I wore a 40-pound vest.
No, I wear your 30-pound Go Ruck.
Yeah, my 30-pound backpack, Go Ruck. Yeah, my Rucker pack. And then I wore my 40-pound vest, carried a flag, and with the AED.
I remember. For those of you that don't know, I don't know if is that at the same spot it was last year.
It's at the same spot as last year.
So 2 times around.
It's at Craig Ranch Park.
So I ran it with these 2 girls, and one of them I worked with last year, and they're like, hey, let's go to the park, halfway around. Hey, let's go to the parking lot, have a couple shots or have a drink. And they're like, do you think, Jeff will get so mad at us? And I was like, Jeff's not gonna give a flying fuck. We go.
As long as you can run it and you're not gonna fall over, because I don't want to use an AED on you. I have to bring you back. So I'm no, don't be doing that shit. Yeah. But other than that, run it. Hey, you're gonna sweat that crap out anyway in a 3-mile run. So,
anyways, good talk tonight.
Good talk, everybody. Robert, I'll get back to some of your questions. Expect tomorrow because it's still on my page. Yep. So I'll look some of that stuff up and we can chat about it. I'll let you know about our group if you want to. We can sit and chat about that. So expect that tomorrow. I know if you got to work tomorrow or anything, we can just respond whenever you got time.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody out there, I'm Jeff.
I'm Matt.
Go out there, be good, do something good for somebody this week. I say that every week, but
fight the evil in the world.
Yeah, go do something good for somebody. Pay for somebody's toll if you're out listening and you drive tolls, or You know, buy somebody a cup of coffee behind you while you're at Starbucks. Just do something nice for somebody, just unexpected. They'll love it. They'll talk about it all day long, and you'll make an impression on them.
Yep, and they'll tell their friends, and then maybe it'll make an impression on them.
You never know. Yeah. You never know. So just do something good for somebody.
All right, you guys.
Anybody out there, have a great night, and we'll talk to you next week.